never know. You just don't. You don't know when, as a collector, something rare is going to cross your path. Well, and it's always a surprise. Something crossed my path, and it found a home with me here. Yesterday, or not yesterday, a few days ago now, my buddy Gil and I went to a local thrift store, and I saw a vintage red and yellow model car behind glass in a case. Well, Gil thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. But it was a bit pricey at $19.99 for me, you know. Still, it was a senior discount day, and I would be able to get 20% off from it, which would bring it down a little bit. But I decided, you know, I left. I decided not to take it. And I stewed about it the entire night. Why didn't I take it? Why didn't I grab it? So, I decided I would go back the next day. If it was still there, I would buy it. If it was gone, I was not meant to have it in the first place. But when I went back, it was there. So the other day, I got on my bike and I rode out to Shiawassee Wildlife Refuge to shoot video, and that video is here on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, you might want to check that out. And when I was done, I biked over to the thrift store and bought the Areocar. That's what this is called, an Areocar. But that day was not a senior day, so I ended up paying full price anyways. But as I researched this online, I discovered it is quite the treasure and quite rare. The red and yellow car is made, or is marked on the bottom. I don't think you can see it though. It says Gladen. Exclusive use of trademarks and Areocar designs authorized by Areocar Incorporated. Sounded interesting to me. Gladen. What was Gladen? What did Gladen have to do with Taylor's Autocar? Well, Gladen, it turns out, was a plastics firm located in Bay City, which is the next city north of Saginaw. I mean, our borders touch each other, so it's very close to home where I live. And Gladen produced these models in 1961. Now, it gets really interesting as I delved into this. Molt Taylor began designing the actual Areocar in 1946, shortly after World War II ended. Mr. Taylor is said to have been a great salesman, and he authorized various promo items to be made of the Areocar. This ensured that in the future there would be an interest in the Areocar, or so he felt. The model car was one of those promotional pieces. Now, originally, the models were given to prospective buyers, and since there weren't many prospective buyers, there were not many of the plastic models given out. So, not only were there not many given out, of course, it stands to reason that there were not that many that were made. But after the failure of the Areocar, these models were colorfully repackaged and sold through toy stores to model builders. Now, these original models were never put into a second run, meaning only about 200 to 250 were all that were ever made, and precious few of those are still around. There are there are 3 model types, and the differences seem to basically just be the color. There was the red and yellow, like mine. There was green and yellow, and there was, and I wrote down red and yellow again. There were actually three color combinations, but I only wrote down 2 of them, so I don't know what the third one was. I beg your pardon. The box the models were put in for the retail was very colorful and featured Bob Cummings as spokesman. He was an extremely popular television figure at that time, and kids loved him, and adults loved him, and so they were hoping that appeal would cross over to the Areocar model, and perhaps to the Areocar itself. Now, one model expert said these Areocar models are as, listen to this, rare as hen's teeth. So rare are they that in a check online, there are none listed for sale on eBay, Etsy, or other sites that I've gone to. So, anyways, he said it was more rare than hen's teeth, which are pretty rare because hens don't have teeth. So, and at that pretty rare anyways. The wings and tail were detachable from the model. Mine does not have the wings, however the car is complete and in a very nice condition for its age, and probably bounced around from here and there over the decades. Who knows what this poor little car has been through. But it looks like it had a good life so far. But let's shift gears here. And yes, I meant the pun. Let's look at some fascinating facts about the Areocar itself, the full-sized version that is. Now the Areocar is often called Taylor's Areocar, and was a working car airplane that was designed and built by Moulton Taylor and was built in Longview, Washington. 6 actual examples were all that were ever made, as the car never made it into full-scale production. It does, however, have the distinction of being the very first practical flying car, and it was approved for flight. So as a car, its medium speed was 60 miles per hour on the road, and in the air it was only 110 miles per hour. The Aerocar utilized folding wings that allowed it to be converted into the flight model by one person in only 5 minutes, or so they say. Probably would have taken me a lot longer. I'm not very mechanically inept. But when the rear license plate was flipped up, the operator could connect the propeller shaft and attach a push propeller to the car. Now the same engine drove the front wheels through a 3-speed manual transmission process, and when operated as an aircraft, the road gear was left in neutral. On the road, the wings and tail unit were towed behind the car. Taylor also put the propeller on the back of the car so that it did not have to be removed like the wings and the tail section. So those didn't have to be removed when the Aerocar went on the road. Now, something else about the Aerocar is that 250 is all that were sold, and only 6 were actually produced. Now, Taylor found a financial backer, and the deal was that if Taylor could get back or sell pre-sale 500 cars, that the man would put up the money to launch Taylor's company and manufacture these truly unique cars. But as good a salesman as he was only able to promise a sale for 250 cars, and so it never went into a full-scale production. Too bad. It would have been kind of fun to fly around on one of these babies. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this. Something very, very rare that happened just accidentally into my collection, and I am so glad that it did. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at Taylor's Areocar model and the real deal, and I will be back with you real soon. God bless you. I love you each all very, very much, and God willing, see you soon. Bye all.